opportunities and you don't take advantage early, and they make plays. They did. We had plenty of opportunities in this game, and then ultimately when you turn the ball over, 4 times, you don't get any takeaways, and it's a recipe for a bad result. But credit to Chicago, they deserve to win.
What did they do against your offense, which had trouble sustaining things today?
Yeah, I mean, early on, I thought we hit a couple shots, but didn't come away with any points. A couple of the stuff when we were in kind of some heavier drop back stuff later, really right before the half too. We didn't really get anything going. And hats off to them too. They held the ball for a long time today, which certainly was kind of their MO, and we didn't do enough clearly to win.
Why do you think that this team came out so flat today offensively?
Well, I didn't think it was flat offensively. Mike, you move down, you get in the scoring range. I wouldn't call that flat. Now, did we score touchdowns? Absolutely not. And we missed a couple field goals, so I wouldn't call that flat. But credit to them. They got good players on their side. They hit some one-on-ones, right? They hit the shot to start the game. First drive kind of got them down there. And then in the second drive, I believe, they hit another one to more. So that's kind of how it went early on. And then certainly we didn't do enough later on and turn the ball over.
In the passing game, was he holding it too long, or was coverage?
It's never one thing, for me to sit here and try to put blame on one person. That's not how football works. A lot of things, obviously, that didn't go right, didn't get the result we wanted or needed. But usually it's not ever on one person.
You mentioned the first drive. You guys were moving the ball pretty well, and then it seemed like that direct snap call really put you guys.
There's risk in every call. I mean, the same thing with goes to the quarterback and he drops it. We've had that happen before too. I got a lot of faith in Bijan, so trying to put the ball in our best player's hand, whether the quarterback takes and hands it or he takes it directly. I did it last week on the goal line. Obviously, that one didn't work.
Moore obviously is a good player for them, and I'm sure he's a big focus of your game plan, but it seemed like he found a lot of space out there.
He did, and credit to them. Man, they found him. Again, some of it was a rush plan, trying to keep him in the pocket, and we had times we got to him. He did convert a third down. We got out of a sack, and then obviously Moore got open a bunch and a lot of different coverages.
You guys haven't been able to, you played as well as you did last week against Indianapolis, and then you play like this today. It seems like that's happened multiple times this season.
Well, I mean, today is probably the one that first time maybe since London. We didn't convert the fourth down, but that was late in the fourth quarter. So it hadn't happened a bunch. Certainly happened a bunch in the last 2 years. I'd say Cincinnati, they felt close to that. I mean, again, we were down. Had a shot, down 10 late, and we went 3 and out. So, again, credit to Chicago. But, we threw another pick, and they popped a run, and they punched it in. So that made it 20 points.
I know you said you can't pin it on one guy, but what did you think of the way Taylor played today?
Look, he was playing through something. Obviously as the game went on, clearly he made the one run, but later as the game went on, you could tell his ankle was hurting him. There's a lot of things that I don't want to overreact without watching the film.
Will you stay with him next weekend, or is it too early to talk about that?
Well, we're just going to go in there and see who's healthy tomorrow and who's not.
This is the first one since probably your first year that's really gotten away from you at the end. Did you feel like that was circumstantial, or did you feel like this is a group that's just kind of tired?
Yeah, I mean, Josh, I know the narrative you're trying to go down. It's a 10-point game, right? And then we're going for it. Right? I believe we turned the ball over once, twice. I can't even remember. We were kind of backed up. We had the ball 10 down 10. And then I believe they made it 13, right? They made a play and they kicked a field goal. And then they, obviously that last one, they broke the run and then they ended up punching it in. So I wouldn't call that when we're sitting there in the second quarter or third quarter. Now the final score, clearly not what you want, but there's things leading up to that, especially when you're going for it and you're in obvious pass situations, but we did that to ourselves.
For clarity, did Desmond come in for Taylor because of the ankle?
Yes.
Okay.
Same thing with Newsel with Drew.
In terms of how you handle this week now, because you guys are still
Yeah, we got to win.
in a lot.
Yeah.
What do you tell them at this point?
I mean, you tell them every week, it's a National Football League. Mike, every week's is a grind. It's the most competitive league, and we got life as bad as this one feels. I don't know what you would tell them anything different. We got to go win this game.
Anything else? Is that what you hold on? I mean, I'm guessing that's what you guys hold on to at this point, right?
It's just, we're at it, Mike. You put everything in to win. That's our job. That's what being a professional is. With this one happens to mean something. That's the only difference in terms of possible, playing extra. But I mean, if you don't do your job and you got a game to play in the National Football League, I don't know, something's wrong with you.
So after you get the 24-yard touchdown and cut it to 10, I believe, then you get a stop and you got a chance to, further get back in the game. What are you all thinking at that point?
Yeah, obviously, go get a touchdown. That's the one I believe went pretty quick, 3 and out. Yeah, we had the one, I believe, over to Drake. Didn't get completed. Second down, ball got away. Third down, they just sat at the sticks. And we punted, I believe, and that's when they got the first down, right? Kicked the field goal. Yeah. And the next one that was the pick, I believe, on 4th down. They punched in the touchdown. They got the 10 points late.
I know I've asked this question a few times this year, but why does Kansas team have a level of consistency?
What's that?
Why can't this team have a level of consistency?
Well, I mean, certainly you're talking about just in the win column. There's consistency in a lot of different things. Ultimately, our job is to win. We lost a couple games at the last second. So, get a tackle here or different play here on offense, you win the game. I guess that's considered consistency you're talking about. But in the win column, yeah. I mean, obviously it hadn't been enough.
You've praised this group's resilience throughout the year. Do you still sense that? I know you're right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right after that game, but you
Absolutely.
still feel that?
Yeah. Look, there is another team out there. We didn't play well enough, but you got to give credit to Chicago. They had a say in it too. Clearly, you lose. It's my job to get us ready. We didn't obviously get the result we needed or wanted, but got to give credit to Chicago as well. Both things can be true.
Anything else? Think so?
Thank you.
What was the factors that kept you off from sustaining things today? Came out, moving it, had a 7-yard loss, stalled, and missed a couple field goals early.
Yeah, it's the same thing from the rest of the year. We turn the ball over, and you can't do that, especially this team and how they play in this weather. Can't give them short fields, can't turn the ball over. Got to play clean football, and there were spurts of where we did that, and there were some that were where we didn't. So we got to clean it all up.
And in the passing game, what were you seeing?
Yeah, they didn't do anything different from what we've seen on film. Maybe some of the pressure stuff on third downs, the different fronts that they used that we've seen on film. They didn't do that today. It was more vanilla, and I thought they just played a great game. They just beat us. Again, you go back and look at the film later tonight and see what we can do better and learn from it. But right now, I think they just beat our ass.
What was your view on the screen pass? It looked like Tyler picked up a couple blocks that were sitting in the corner hot.
You talking about the one that Tyler went for 75?
75 yards,
Yeah, great play call, and quite honestly, they brought a blitz that it worked perfectly. So they brought the nickel. Tyler kind of bluffed him to make him think that he was going to block him and slipped outside, and it was a perfect play call for that defensive call, and we executed it perfectly.
How much did the ankle injury affect you today, and how do you think you'll be able to go next week?
I wouldn't say it was affecting me that much. I would say it was kind of in the back of my mind, whether it was like transferring weight with throws and stuff like that. I can kind of feel it. We'll see how it feels tomorrow, and we'll go from there. But right now, I could start to feel it later in the game. Second to last throw I had there, I think someone stepped right there on my foot, and I started to feel a little sharp pain. But other than that, I don't think it really affected me. I got to play better.
Which ankle is it?
Left.
I mean, because you had a couple scrambles where you looked like you had the quickest. Did you on you maybe a little bit toward the end of the game?
I don't know. Once you're in the heat of the battle, that adrenaline kind of takes over and you just go. So, on most of those scrambles, I wasn't feeling it. It's mostly kind of when you get to the sideline or you're kind of just sitting there in the huddle with the cold. Kind of creeps in your mind. But, again, I just got to play better.
Did the ankle, could they combine with the weather, that mess fit early on at all, or?
No, again, I didn't really feel the ankle at all until later in the game. And then, again, like I said, it kind of compounded when I got stepped on there at the end.
It was like the first 2 drives, it looked like you missed throws in the end zone. I don't know if those were misses or if, like, just, I don't know if you talked about it earlier, sorry about that. Like, walk me through kind of what you saw in both of those and kind of maybe what happened that
What the red zone throws?
Yeah, the one to what, Kyle, and the one to Van?
Yep. So the one to Kyle, it was, a schemed up play, and I saw Kyle kind of slip the corner and got on top of him and tried to give him a shot, a little too deep and inside. And then the one to Van, quite honestly, I thought it was a perfect ball when I threw it. I got hit right afterwards, so I didn't really see how it ended. But, yeah, it's something I can go back and look at film, see where I can do better.
In terms of this team, I know you haven't started every game this year, but consistency-wise, it seems like it just hasn't been there, and you've been on teams that have been similar before. Why has it not been there with this team? And the parallels that you can draw from other teams you've been in, and can kind of maybe explain.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, you turn the ball over, it's hard to win. So that's step one. You can't turn the ball over 3 times and expect to win a game like that. And then, we didn't really have any penalties today on offense or on defense, I think, until very late. So in that aspect, we played pretty clean. But again, when you turn the ball over 3 times, give that offense short fields with the conditions like this, it's tough to win, especially on the road.
I guess kind of more in the big picture of it all. Like when you look at the entire season, it's been really the last couple weeks, last 3 weeks have kind of been this, you could have moved it into any section of the year.
Well, I would respectfully disagree within the last 3 weeks. I think, we played some, obviously at the Carolina game with that weather. But, when Dez was playing against Tampa, I thought we were moving. Again, there were some turnovers there. But other than the turnovers, I thought he played a really solid game there. The turnovers today, Carolina with that weather, and then last week I thought we were in a roll. So, again, I think it all falls back on the turnovers. And if you don't turn the ball over, yeah, you're going to have some 3 and outs, but that's part of football.